Welcome back to JB Reviews. Today we're going to take a look at a 2020 Ford F-250, and this is going to have the 7.3 liter gas. Today we are going to do a quick Mpg run. It's just a 10-mile-an-hour run. I only use the computer, but this will give you a good idea what kind of fuel mileage you're going to get in the winter time. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so let's take a look at this 7.3 liter gas engine. Now, if you're not familiar with this is a pushrod V8, and it is good for 430 horsepower. That comes on at about 5,500 RPMs, and it also has 475 pound-feet of torque that comes on around 4,000 RPMs. So I'm pretty excited to see how all that plays out when I take it for a quick drive. But it doesn't look that big inside of here, but it's definitely a big engine. And one thing to point out too is this is going to be a new design for the cast iron block. It also has a forged steel crankshaft too. This engine is really for heavy commercial use, but you can get this in just like a regular truck that you see here. And if you are building a truck like a trimmer, this would be a really good option, especially if you want something that's gonna last a long time. I think that this would be a better idea. One of the guys on my channel mentioned that using a diesel for the trimmer wouldn't be a good idea, because if you're going off road at low speeds, the diesel particulate filter could start to like get filled with soot. So this would be a really good alternative, especially if you're looking for something reliable. I like how they do give you LED lighting inside of the engine bay to give you some light if you're working on this beast also. But everything looks good. Let's go ahead and take it on the road and see how it handles. So before we start our Mpg run, I wanted to go ahead and just get the engine kind of warmed up, because that's what I normally do anyways. But it already ran out of the gate. This thing is quiet, but it does have very low end torque. I mean, you have a 5,500 RPM rev limiter there, and yeah, it's quiet. It's very quiet actually. I thought it was going to be a little bit louder than what the 6.2 is, but for the most part, when you're running about 45 miles an hour, you're running just under 1,500 RPMs, and I'm in 8th gear. It just downshifted just now. I'm going 60. I'm going to set the cruise control. I'll be honest, I don't know how to set cruise control in the 4th. I've never had to do that. All right, so I'm right at. Well, I dropped down to 55. That's fine. So it did go into 10th gear at 55 miles an hour. So that's pretty cool. I have it in eco mode. There's actually a few driving modes that you can choose, and I have it right now just in eco mode. I'm trying to see if I can get close to like 17, because if you can get 17 mpg with this truck, that would be really good. Now, as mentioned earlier, this is going to be a 2020 Ford F-250 single rear wheel 4x4 crew cab XLT. It's a mouthful. It has that 7.3 gas engine, and it is going to be a 10-speed automatic. Now, this color, check that out, blue jeans metallic. And this is going to be a quick short listing of all the standard equipment that's going to come on this truck. Starting off the optional equipment, it is going to be that 7.3 liter gas engine. It's only a $2,045 upcharge over the 6.2. It's not too bad. It does have the all-terrain tires, 275/70s, 355 locking axle in the rear, 390. Now you can get a 430, which I strongly recommend if you're going to tow with this truck. Chrome package, and this does have the Xlt Premium Package. Continuing on the options, you do have the Xlt Premium Package. And here's everything that's going to come in that package. And then from there you have the FX4 off-road package, $400. Navigation is $570. Back glass defrost, $60. Snowplow package, $250. And here's everything else. Base price comes in at $45,775, with destination at $1,595. You have a total price of $56,250. Here's a quick 0 to 60. That's actually really quick for a V8 gas powered truck. That is pretty quick. Wow. And that was in eco mode too. You really can't feel that power come on at 4,000 RPMs. I mean, it starts to come on strong. Now, when it's a hot 100-degree day, that would be a really good test. It's like 35 degrees outside right now, so every engine is going to perform the best in terms of performance when it's this cold outside. But currently right now, I'm sorry my camera's having some issues focusing, but I'm in 8th gear right now, right at 45 miles an hour. But when you get to 55, it does actually shift into 10th gear. It is downshift. I'm going a little bit quicker now. Check out those RPMs too. I'm in 6th gear. There it is. 9th gear, 10th. So even at 50 miles an hour, it'll stay inside that higher gear to give you that better fuel economy. Now that could just be with just that eco mode. Now if you put it back in normal mode, let me see something real quick. At 50, let's see what it does. I mean, I'm sure if you put it in tow haul mode, it'll probably just, you know, stay in the lower gears. But yeah, 50, yeah, it does the same thing basically with the gears. So that's good to know. So let's go ahead and start. I'm gonna drive it for maybe like another few more minutes because it's still kind of taking some time to warm up here. But like I said, I'll warm this up a little bit more. I'll reset this trip here, and then we'll go ahead and get started. I did a video on a 2020 F-450, so not much has really changed. As you guys saw in the window sticker, this does have the chrome package. The Xlt Premium Package does add the fog lights, and it does add the running boards too. You also get this stylish wheel too. Also looks really nice on this truck. And let me know what you guys think about this blue jeans color. I like it. It's not too dark, not too light. It's like a perfect color. And I also like the FX4 decal with it too. It does make this truck look really sporty. And as you guys saw, there's just a lot of small options on this truck. So it does not have a dampened tailgate, but you do have the bed step, the rail to get inside of it too. They also give you your 7-pin and your 4-pin connections for your trailer, and it does have parking sensors on the rear. I like how subtle the Super Duty looks in the smaller Ford emblem. It does definitely clean up the back. I've mentioned that in the past. And this truck does have blind spot monitoring too. And here's a look at your rear suspension. This is just a standard leaf pack. Only 3 leaves in the pack too. And then here's just a quick look at your front suspension too. Alright, I just had to stop back at a light just now. I was at 14. I lost 1 mpg having to accelerate again, but I'm back at 55 miles an hour, and we're about to come up to the end here where I have to make a quick U-turn to go back. But I mean, if I didn't have to stop, I probably would have been about 14.5 by now. So it's not bad. I mean, keep in mind it's 33 degrees right now. So I mean, this would probably be a lot higher if it was a little bit warmer outside too. So I mean, I'm pretty happy with where we are so far on this loop. All right, guys, so I'm at 14 again. If you're familiar with my channel, I always make a U-turn up here, go back the other way, and then we'll hop back on the road. But I ended at 14 mpg. If you watch through my other videos, I've done an Mpg run on a PowerStroke with a dually, I believe it was. I can't remember now, but maybe it was actually, it was a single rear wheel, and I think I actually got to like 19 or something like that. Maybe it wasn't that high, I can't remember. I've done a lot of Ram trucks, so I need to redo the gas motors with the 8-speed because you guys got mad at me because I put it in that manual shift mode, and you guys said that the activation, the MDS doesn't kick on when you do that, so I have to redo those. But we're gonna hop back on the road here, and then we'll get back to the dealership, and I'll just let you guys see the final numbers. Taking a quick look at the interior, you are gonna have a really clean instrument cluster. They show you all your gauges up top. They're showing you some things like your fuel, oil, things like that. And they also give you this screen in the center here. It's going to show you your trip 1 and trip 2. It's going to show you your fuel economy, and then it's going to show you the history of your fuel economy, compass, and then back to trip 1. Of course, you have your cruise control and all the buttons to control that screen and reset. You can hit OK to reset anything in here like the trip 1. And then of course, this is going to control your audio. You also have traction control at the very top here, cautions, and then this is like a downhill assist. And this does have blind spot monitoring, and it looks like a lane keep assist. So this truck does come with those type of features if you do like to have those things. Trailer brake just below your 4-wheel drive system. If you pull this out, you can lock that rear axle. Now you don't have dual climate control, but they still give you heated seats on the XLT, and I will tell you, I had to turn these things off because they started burning my butt. They also give you your outlets right here, and you have 2 USBs inside this compartment that slides closed. And to slide this, you can have 4 cup holders, very large center console, and you have additional storage on that side too. Up top, you have a place to put your sunglasses. They have their upfitter switches that do light up if they're on. And you do not have a auto dimming mirror here, so just keep that in mind. You have some storage up top, and it looks to be like a speaker on the top of the dash also. Nothing new to see back in the back seats. If you have a chance, go take a look at my other videos and you can see pretty much everything. One thing I would like to point out is you do have a fixed glass, so that does not slide. So that might be something you might want to opt for if it's available on the XLT. Alright, we're getting close to the dealership. I'm at 15.2. There's a red light up here right now. I think the light's going to change. I'm going to try to coast it in, but I'm at 15.3. I was doing 55 miles an hour for most of this drive here. We're at 9 miles, and like I said, once we get up this small hill, the light just turned green just now. But man, guys, I'm really happy with this number. I mean, for it to be 33 degrees outside, I think that having this 10-speed transmission is really helping to get this higher MPG. One day, if I have a chance, I'll try to do a drive in a 6.2. That way you guys have a good idea of how they both compare. But having a big block V8 push rod, I mean, this is good numbers. I mean, this engine is not designed to get fuel mileage. I mean, that's not one thing that Ford talked about when they built this engine. And to get 15 mpg is pretty good. Now, if you're not familiar, the 6.2 does not get this 10-speed transmission. Only the 6.7 and the 7.3 are the only engines that are going to have this 10-speed. So keep that in mind. So you might be able to get better fuel mileage than the 6.2 having that 10-speed. All right, so I have the truck on right now. I just want you guys just to hear how quiet this thing is. I mean, you can't even hear it. It is so quiet. It doesn't shake the truck. I mean, even in the wheel well with the engine on, you can see it's running. Check that out, that's crazy. This truck is so quiet. Let me pop the hood for you. Now this engine is on and it is so quiet. I mean, I can have a normal conversation with you. I'm not talking loud or anything, but it just sounds so good, so quiet. And they did a really good job building this motor. I can't say anything negative about it. All right, guys and girls, here we are. We are approaching quickly, but we are at 15 mpg. Now, for some people who say that the computer is not reliable, I agree unless you're doing a lot of highway driving. I always check my computers when I do highway driving, and I always find that the computer's actually off a little bit in terms of it saying it's not getting as good as fuel economy. When you're doing a lot of city driving, I feel like it's not as accurate, or if you're doing like a lot of idling. So right at 15.1 pulling into the dealership, guys, that is good fuel mileage. I am completely happy with that. That is really good for this big of a V8 with this much power. So let's go ahead and take a look at the numbers on the door. Anytime you're in the market for a 2020 Ford Xlt F-250 with a gas motor, 3/4 ton, you're going to see these numbers. Front gross axle weight rating up front is going to be 5,600 pounds. The rear is going to be at 6,340 pounds. And you're going to have a 10,000 pound GVWR. Total payload comes in at 3,115 pounds. That's very, very big numbers there. Be sure, if you're in the market, check out Century, Ford in Mount Airy, Maryland. These guys have a really good selection of trucks out here too. I mean, they have a ton of commercial stuff, ton of things that you can choose from. They even have trucks with snow plows on them. But these guys have been really helpful for my channel, and want to give them a shout out. Like I said, if you are in the market for a truck, car, SUV, whatever it is, these guys have pretty much what you need. And they have a lot of nice used cars too, so check them out, guys. Thank you so much for staying to the end. Now, if you have a second, be sure to go to this website, fleet.ford.com. I will put it in the description for you. I want to show you this really quickly. This is going to be for the F-250 single rear wheel conventional towing, and I wanted just to show you the towing numbers for this truck really quickly. So just keep in mind, if you are looking at trucks, if you're new to this thing, be sure to know that if you add a high trim level to your list of trucks and you want a lot of options, you're going to reduce your payload capacity and your towing capacity. So just keep that in mind. Now, if you are looking at the 7.3, the good news is this truck does have a lot of towing capacity just for a conventional trailer. So the truck that we looked at had a 355 axle. So you're going to have a gross combined weight rating of 21.8, and you're going to have a towing capacity of 14,000 pounds. Now, this was a four-wheel drive truck with a short bed. That's not bad. Now, if you get to 430, I mean, it does go up. Not a lot, but it goes up. And let me just show you where it really makes the biggest difference. So if you're looking at gooseneck and fifth wheel towing, again, 355 is going to show you 14,700 pounds. If you go with a 430 axle, look how much towing capacity you go. Now, if you're looking at a gooseneck trailer, things like that, towing of heavy equipment, and you're doing a lot of that weight on the axles of the trailer, you're going to be able to stay within your limits on your payload capacity of your truck. Now, if you're looking at fifth wheels, you're probably going to be right around this area for fifth wheels, just because there's so much pin weight up front, and it's going to affect how much you can tow. As you saw in the video, this truck does have a considerable amount of payload capacity, but if you were to add a limited package or even a lariat, you could reduce that by 400 to 500 pounds. But again, thank you guys so much for watching and supporting my channel. I hope this stuff has been helpful for you. I will continue to do it for you guys as much as I can. But until then, see you in the next video.